A man is going to prison for killing his ex-girlfriend in front of their toddler on Thanksgiving Day.
November 28, 2019. Thanksgiving night. A terrified woman calls 911 from inside her ex's apartment. She's scared. She can't leave. Her 2-year-old daughter is right there with her. Police show up, knock on the door for 2 minutes, get no answer, and leave. 30 minutes later, that same woman is shot in the back. 1 bullet. Fatal. Her baby girl crying in the next room. Now here's what makes this whole thing worse. The man who killed her, he was already a convicted murderer. And the system? The system let him walk free over and over again until it was too late. This is the story of Raven Gant. In every home, behind every closed door, there's a story waiting to be uncovered. Welcome to Dark Whispers, where we dive deep into the hidden truths of domestic crime and the relationships that turn deadly. If you're drawn to real stories, powerful insights, and the shadows most people avoid, you're in the right place. Subscribe now and step into the whispers they never wanted you to hear. Raven Bianca Gant was born and raised in Minneapolis, Minnesota. From day one, she was that person who just lit up every room she walked into. Her mother, Lakesha, was her everything, her anchor, the person she could always count on no matter what. Her father adored her. And her brother, Ronald? That was more than just her sibling. That was her protector, the one who would do anything to keep her safe. Raven wasn't just out here trying to get by. She had goals, real goals. She wanted a career, something she could build on, something that was hers. She landed a position as an accounts manager at the Union Depot Hotel, and girl, she was good at it. Her best friend, Jakara, remembers her like this. I would describe Raven as fun, loving, the life of the room, probably the most fashionable in the room. That was Raven, always working hard, always showing up, always making sure she looked good while doing it. She had ambition. She had warmth. She had this natural way of making people feel comfortable around her, like they could trust her. But then she met Randall Watkins, and everything changed. Randall was 14 years older than Raven, 41 years old when they got together, and he came with a past that should have been a massive red flag. Actually, let me be clear. It wasn't just a red flag. It was a whole parade of red flags with sirens attached. Back in 1995, Randall got into an argument with his own friend over a small amount of money. We're not talking about thousands of dollars. We're talking about pocket change. And you know what Randall did? He shot that man, first in the back of the leg. Then, while his friend was already down, he shot him in the head. Cold, calculated, murder. He was convicted and sent to prison for it. But somehow, years later, there he was, walking free. And that's when Raven crossed his path. Maybe she didn't know the full story of who he really was. Maybe she thought people could change. Maybe she believed she could build something with him. A home, a family, a future. She got pregnant, and soon their daughter Rajaya was born. And let me tell you something. Raven loved that little girl with everything in her. She poured her whole heart into making sure Rajaya had the best life possible. She was a proud mother, a devoted mother, the kind of mother who would do anything for her child. But behind closed doors, things were falling apart. The abuse didn't just explode overnight. It never does. It crept in slowly. A shove here, a raised voice there. Threats that left marks. Some you could see, many you couldn't. At first, Raven stayed quiet about it. Maybe she was hoping things would get better. Maybe she didn't want to believe that the father of her child was dangerous. Maybe she thought she could handle it on her own. But in 2016, the truth came out in the worst way possible. One night, Raven showed up to a family dinner, and when her family saw her, their hearts dropped. Her face was bloody. Her body was bruised. She looked like she'd been through hell. Her brother was horrified. Her father was furious. This wasn't just some little argument that got out of hand. This was violence. This was abuse. And they all knew exactly who did it. That night, Raven's father confronted Randall directly. He wasn't about to let this slide. He wasn't about to let anyone put their hands on his daughter like that and just walk away. But Randall pulled out a gun and shot Raven's father in the back. Girl, that should have been the moment. The moment the law stepped in. The moment Randall got locked up for attempted murder. The moment Raven's family got the protection they desperately needed. But here's where things get complicated. Raven's father made a choice. He didn't tell police what really happened. He didn't press charges. He wanted to handle it himself. He wanted to protect his daughter his way. Street justice instead of the legal system. And that choice? That choice would haunt him forever. The violence didn't stop. Raven's mother walked into her home one day and saw the proof all over again. Her daughter had a black eye. This time she called the police. She wasn't about to stay quiet. Randall was arrested. Finally, right. Finally, he'd face consequences. But somehow the charges didn't stick. Somehow Randall walked free. Again. Make it make sense. A man with a murder conviction. A man who shot his girlfriend's father in the back. A man who kept putting his hands on a woman. And he just kept walking free. Raven finally made a decision. She couldn't do it anymore. The bruises, the fear, the constant hiding. She moved out of the home she shared with Randall and went to live with her father. It was supposed to be a fresh start, a chance to rebuild her life, a way to protect herself and Rajaya. She was trying to get out. She was trying to do the right thing, but Randall wasn't ready to let go. See? He'd lost control over her, and that's what really drove him crazy. Control. That's what abusers care about, and when they lose it, that's when they become the most dangerous. Raven's family says she kept a lot to herself during this time. Maybe too much. She didn't want them to get hurt. She didn't want her father or her brother doing something they'd regret. She was trying to protect everyone around her. Everyone except herself. Her brother Ronald said it like this: "It was just like any other holiday, and I had no idea of all of this that was going on because of the lengths that my sister was going through to protect this man." Protect this man. Even after everything he'd done to her, Raven was still trying to keep the peace, still trying to make sure nobody else got hurt because of her situation. That's the kind of person she was. That's how much she cared about her family. But Thanksgiving 2019 was about to change everything. On the morning of November 28th, 2019, Thanksgiving Day, Raven was in good spirits. She posted on Facebook about having an extra turkey, looking forward to the holiday with her family. If you were scrolling through social media that morning, you'd have no idea that within hours, her life would be over. Earlier that day, Raven went to Randall's apartment. She needed her daughter's clothes, diapers, baby items, basic stuff that he had taken when they broke up, and he refused to give them back. She wasn't trying to start drama. She wasn't trying to argue. She just wanted her baby's things. So she did what you're supposed to do. She called the police for help. When officers arrived, Raven was sitting calmly in her car. She explained the situation. She told them she wasn't trying to cause trouble. She just needed to get Rajaya's belongings. But you know what the police told her? "Unfortunately, I can't force him to open the door and let you go in and get the stuff." Okay, that's where my hands are tied. A civil matter. That's what they called it. Not their problem. So the police left, and Raven was on her own. Later that evening, Randall sent Raven a message. "Come back," he said. "Bring the baby. You can get everything." Raven's mother, Lakesha, felt uneasy about the whole thing. Something about it didn't sit right with her. She knew how Randall operated. She knew the kind of man he was. But Raven told her mother she'd be right back. Just a quick trip, in and out. She'd grab the stuff and come straight home. She would never make it home. Raven arrived at Randall's apartment around 9:30 that night with little Rajaya. Randall let them in. The door closed behind them. And just like that, she was trapped. At 9:37, just 7 minutes after she walked through that door, Raven made the 911 call you heard at the beginning of this story. She told the dispatcher she was scared. She told them Randall wouldn't let her leave. She mentioned he usually carried a knife, but she hadn't seen it that day. The fear in her voice was real. This wasn't someone being dramatic. This was someone who knew she was in danger. And here's the thing that'll make your blood boil. At the exact same time Raven was calling for help, Randall was also calling 911. But his story? Completely different. He claimed Raven had kicked him in the face. He was trying to flip the whole narrative, trying to make himself look like the victim. Classic abuser move. Officers were dispatched to the scene. Body camera footage shows them walking up to the door. They knocked once. They didn't call out. They didn't announce themselves. They didn't look through windows. They didn't check the back of the apartment. The house was dark, they said. Nobody answered. So after just 2 minutes at the scene, 2 minutes, they told dispatch nobody was home, and they left. But inside that apartment, Raven was trapped. Time was running out, and nobody knew. Randall called 911 again, still playing the victim, still trying to control the narrative. He asked the dispatcher how long it would take for officers to come back and remove Raven from his home, as if she was the problem, as if she was some trespasser who wouldn't leave. The dispatcher assured him they'd send someone back. But instead of heading straight back to the scene, those officers made a detour, several blocks away, to use the bathroom, to check on a stolen vehicle. Meanwhile, inside Randall's apartment, the situation was falling apart. At 10:08, Raven made a final call, this time to her father. Her voice was trembling with fear. She told him Randall wouldn't let her leave. Rajaya was still there, witnessing everything, trapped in the middle of her parents' nightmare. The tension in that room must have been unbearable. Then, without warning, Randall pulled out a gun and shot Raven in the back. 1 bullet. Fatal. Right in front of their little girl. Seconds later, Randall called 911 one more time. You could hear him yelling in the background, shouting that nobody should put their hands on him, while little Rajaya cried nearby. The dispatcher urged him to step away, to go to another room, but by then the damage was done. Raven had been shot. When officers finally arrived again, Randall walked out of the house with his hands up, playing calm, playing cooperative. But inside that apartment, police found something that would stay with them forever. Little Rajaya was standing in the dining room, just standing there. When police asked her where her mommy was, she pointed to the floor. Girl. This baby. This 2-year-old baby had just watched her father kill her mother, and now she's pointing police to her mama's body. Officers walked further into the apartment, and there she was. Raven was lying on her back in the doorway between the kitchen and dining room. She wasn't moving. There was nothing they could do at the scene. They rushed her to North Memorial Medical Center, but it was too late. Raven was pronounced dead shortly before 11 p.m. 1 bullet. That's all it took to destroy a family, to leave a little girl without a mother, to end the life of a young woman who was just trying to get her daughter's clothes. Raven's father showed up at the house while police were still processing the scene. He was devastated. He told them about the call his daughter had made just minutes earlier. He told them Raven had been trying to get away from Randall for a long time. He told them about the abuse. He told them how Randall had beaten her before, how he himself had been shot in the back by Randall years ago. And he told them how somehow Randall had remained free. That freedom cost Raven her life. According to the autopsy, Raven was shot once in the left side of her back. No defensive wounds. No signs of a struggle in that moment. Just one bullet, fired from behind while she was trying to leave. Nobody knows exactly what was said in those final moments. Nobody knows what her daughter saw in complete detail. Nobody knows what went through Raven's mind as she realized she wasn't getting out of that apartment alive. But one thing is absolutely clear. She didn't deserve this. She was a mother who just wanted her child's clothes. A daughter who just wanted to enjoy Thanksgiving with her family. A woman who had finally walked away from an abusive relationship, only to be pulled right back in for the last time. And the system that was supposed to protect her? That system failed her at every single turn. Randall Watkins didn't just destroy Raven's future. He tore an entire family apart. He traumatized a little girl who will carry this for the rest of her life. He took a daughter from her mother, a sister from her brother, a mother from her child. And for what? Control, pride, the inability to let go. But hey, the story doesn't end with Raven's death, because her family wasn't about to let this go quietly.
Randall Watkins was convicted last month. Today, a judge sentenced him to the maximum penalty. Raven Gant was 27 years old when she died. She had gone to the house she shared with Watkins to retrieve some clothing when Watkins shot her in front of their 2-year-old, JJ. Susan Elizabeth Littlefield shows us how the case came to an emotional close today.
Raven Gant was a young woman on the move, a doting mother with a budding career in hotel management, as her father explained to a judge.
My daughter was a beautiful, hard-working, lovable, just want to be successful in life.
But her life was taken by her ex-boyfriend, killed on Thanksgiving in front of their young daughter. As Raven's ex awaited his sentence, her father told him and the court how little JJ is coping.
It's so vivid in her mind. She talk about it with other kids that just come up. My daddy killed my mama. You know, when she see ambulances, she think her mom's in the ambulance. She see police, she just terrified of the police, terrified. You know, and this what you did to a baby.
Then it was Randall Watkins' turn to speak.
My deepest compassion for the loss of Raven, because I'm devastated behind it, and not because I'm convicted, but because I truly love Raven, man. I truly loved our daughter. I will always love them both.
And then the defendant tried to defend himself.
It was unintentional. I was attacked.
The judge rejected that defense and inflicted the highest penalty, 40 years in prison, saying, though, that the greatest burden would be the one that little JJ has to bear.
And she's lost both her parents. Worse, she saw her dad kill her mother.
Love you, baby! And with that, Raven's family gathered, finding some gratitude amidst the deepest of pain.
We're just thankful for the outcome today, and just wish that none of this had to happen.
Susan Elizabeth Littlefield, WCCO 4 News.
Raven's family is starting a foundation in her honor called Be Their Voice. It will give women a way to escape domestic violence.
Nearly a year later, on October 23, 2020, justice finally came. Randall Watkins was found guilty on all 3 charges: intentional second-degree murder, unintentional second-degree murder, and being a felon in possession of a gun. The jury saw right through his lies. They saw through the victim act. They saw exactly what he was: a killer. The judge handed down the maximum sentence allowed by law, 40 years in prison. And she made it very clear that this case wasn't just about a woman being killed. It was about a little girl who lost everything in one night. The judge stated that Rajaya had lost both her parents. She lost her mother to violence and her father to prison. Worse than that, she saw her dad kill her mom. That trauma? That's something she'll carry for the rest of her life. Even then, even after being convicted, Randall tried to paint himself as the one suffering. He stood up in that courtroom and told everyone he had loved Raven, that he still loved their daughter, that he never meant to take Raven's life, that he had been attacked. The judge didn't believe him. Nobody believed him. But here's what really got me about the sentencing. Raven's father stood up and told the court how Rajaya was coping with all of this. And let me tell you something. This part will break your heart. He said,
She talk about it with other kids that just come up. My daddy killed my mama. When she see ambulances, she think her mom's in the ambulance. She see police, she just terrified of the police, terrified. And this what you did to a baby.
A baby. A 2-year-old baby saying, "My daddy killed my mama." Scared of ambulances because that's what took her mother away. Terrified of police because of what she witnessed that night. That's the real sentence here. 40 years for Randall. That's nothing compared to the life sentence Rajaya has to live with. Outside the courthouse, Raven's mother, Lakesha, spoke quietly. You could see the pain all over her face, but even through that pain, she made a promise. Lakesha announced the launch of a foundation called Be Their Voice. It would be dedicated to helping women escape situations like Raven's before it's too late. A safe space for those in danger. A place to find support, protection. A real lifeline for women who are trapped and don't know where to turn. Lakesha urged everyone listening to take the first signs of violence seriously. Once the abuse begins, she warned, it doesn't stop. It only gets worse. And she wasn't just talking to victims. She was talking to all of us. To the families who see the bruises and stay quiet. To the friends who suspect something's wrong but don't want to get involved. To the police who show up and leave after 2 minutes. To the prosecutors who let charges slide. To everyone who has the power to intervene but doesn't. But even as she worked to turn tragedy into purpose, Lakesha carried another mission. Raising Rajaya. Giving that little girl a stable, loving life far away from the violence she'd already witnessed. Because if Raven couldn't be here to raise her daughter, Lakesha was going to make damn sure Rajaya knew she was loved and protected. On the evening of December 6, 2019, just days after Raven's death, candles lit up the corner of West Broadway and Lyndale Avenue in Minneapolis. Family, friends, and neighbors came together in the cold to remember Raven. They shared memories, tears, and embraces at a vigil that lasted for hours. People who knew her, people who didn't, all of them standing together saying her name, making sure she wasn't forgotten. But for Lakesha, remembering Raven wasn't enough. She needed answers. She needed accountability. For 3 long hours that Thanksgiving night, Lakesha couldn't rest. Not just because her daughter was gone, but because of how she died. The fear in Raven's voice during those 911 calls, the unanswered cries for help. Lakesha told her husband something wasn't right about the police response. And she was right. Getting the truth became a battle of its own. Lakesha had to fight just to obtain the police body camera footage. It cost her thousands of dollars out of her own pocket. But the truth was worth more than money. When she finally received that footage in 2023 and watched it, her heart shattered all over again. The footage showed exactly what happened. Officers walking up to Randall Watkins' door, knocking, never announcing themselves, never calling out, never looking inside, then leaving. 2 minutes. That's all they gave Raven. 2 minutes before they decided nobody was home and walked away. Now Lakesha is fighting again, this time with a lawsuit against the Minneapolis Police Department. She believes they failed her daughter. And honestly, she's not wrong. Raven didn't just die at the hands of Randall Watkins. She died because help never truly came. Because the system failed her at every single step of the way. Her name now stands as a heartbreaking reminder of what happens when red flags are ignored. When convicted felons are given more chances than their victims. when women are left to fend for themselves in their most desperate moments. Raven Gant loved her daughter. She loved her family. She worked hard, dreamed big, and tried her best to protect everyone around her. But in the end, nobody could protect her. Not the father who chose street justice over pressing charges. Not the police who knocked twice and walked away. Not the legal system that let a convicted murderer walk free time and time again. This story is a tragedy, but it's also a warning. To every woman in a relationship where the first slap has already happened, leave. Your life is worth more than clothes, more than belongings, more than keeping the peace, more than hoping he'll change. He won't. It only gets worse. To every family watching a loved one suffer, speak up. Press charges. Call the police. Don't let misplaced loyalty cost you everything. Don't wait until it's too late to act. And to every system designed to protect us, do better. Show up. Stay longer than 2 minutes. Believe women when they say they're scared. Take convicted abusers seriously. Stop giving dangerous men chance after chance while their victims get none. Because Raven Gant deserved better. Her daughter deserved better. Her family deserved better. And so does every woman still trapped in the nightmare Raven tried so hard to escape. Rest in peace, Raven Bianca Gant. Your name, your story, your daughter, they will not be forgotten. Period.